I'm Dr. John Barrington. I'm an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in hip, knee, and shoulder replacement. Grew up in a small town in Northern California. The story really goes back to my dad, Robert Barrington, who was a Navy dentist, and he was a man of tremendous wisdom, tremendously soft and skilled hands. And I began assisting my dad when I was about 7 years old, taking care of people on Saturday in his dental office who had no ability to pay. And I can remember very clearly my very first patient I ever took care of was an older woman who had no ability to pay. It was a Saturday morning. She brought some tomatoes for my dad, and she was eternally grateful that he could get her out of pain. I remember asking my dad several years later, "Dad, what should I do? How can I help people the way that you do?" The wisdom he gave me, I've never forgotten. He said, "John, you've been gifted with a brilliant mind and skilled hands, and you need to add to that a humble heart and a sense of respect for the patients that you'll be taking care of." He shared this verse with me. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." And I said, "Dad, I don't understand that exactly." And he said, "Well, as you develop a heart for people, God will show you the way that you're supposed to go." The things that we fall in love with and become passionate about are what we invest our time in and our skill and our resources. And in college, for me, that was the game of golf. I began in a small town. I never had a private lesson. I was very fortunate to be recruited to a Division I college team from a Hall of Fame coach named Mike Watney. But when I first showed up, I didn't have the skill set necessary to play at the Division I college level. And it was several years of practicing really, really hard and learning from the greats of the game and applying the mind and the heart and the hands to become the very best golfer that I could become. And I became a Division I captain of a nationally ranked team and an All-American, and in 1996, a finalist for the Ben Hogan Award. And after a truly joyful experience as a college golfer, I was very fortunate to gain access to the University of California for medical school. I again called my dad, whose wise advice I often looked for, and he said, "Well, John, pick something where you think you can do the most good for the most people and learn all you can about that, and look to the Lord, he'll make your path straight." One of the very best things we do for people in medicine is take people who are hurting and give them pain relief through hip or knee or shoulder replacement. And so as I went through medical school, residency, ended up training at Harvard University and their teaching hospital, Massachusetts General Hospital, I fell in love with joint replacement. And at the time when we did a joint replacement, long term, the patients did amazing. But we also had some gaps in our understanding back in 2000, 2005. And the world's leaders were trying to figure out, how do you get this joint replacement done and yet have patients not suffer? That took me down a pathway of learning and leading and following patients along with others around the country. We began sharing our techniques and tools. I think back to my dad and his advice. That's been my career trajectory over the last 15 years, is learning to do the very best possible surgery through the smallest incisions with the best closure and the least pain for all patients. And we've accomplished that. Where we stand today, I'm Texas's leading outpatient joint replacement surgeon, which means that the patients that I take care of, over 95% of them can go home the same day, rest in their own bed, and not take any opioid pain medicine after surgery. This is sort of a symbol of my career journey. It's called the Lawrence Dorr Humanitarian Award. This award from the American Association of Hip and Knee Surgeons is the pinnacle of what someone can be blessed to achieve in our field. And it says that this person for a given year has been recognized as the humanitarian who best exemplifies the qualities that Larry Dorr exemplified, which is service to humanity and caring and compassion and giving of themselves to do something beyond just what would be done for themselves. And I was the recipient of this year's Humanitarian Award from the American Association of Hip and Knee Surgeons, and I was tremendously humbled to be given that honor. And going back to that opening story that I began with, taking care of that woman on a Saturday morning when I was 7 years old. To me, it doesn't matter whether someone is Tiger Woods or someone who comes into my office who has no ability to pay. I love each person exactly the same. I provide exactly the same highest quality of care. And a lifetime of learning has led me on the path that was straight for me, which is to take the very best care of patients, each one individually, one at a time.